welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. We are in Jammas here. It's late night. I'm traveling, so we're doing the best we can do. But I have a message for you. I hate when they make me rotate the screen. I just want to do it in landscape, and they won't. On lives, they want everything the way they want it. Anyway, welcome to my channel, guys. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath. Let's see if I can get an angle that I like. It doesn't make me want to die. All right, guys, let's see here. All right, I'm gonna close my robe up. All right, let's see. Okay, all right, guys, we're gonna work from that angle. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about is being patriotic about your boundaries. Y'all, I am struggling. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one up because I can't get my angle. I can't get my angle. I want to talk to you guys about being patriotic about your boundaries. Thank you guys for coming in. I've always watched readers and all that stuff do this at the beginning of a live. And hey, Laura, look at that. Laura Lofton. Thank you for joining while I'm being a crazy person here. I'm trying to get comfortable. I am traveling for business and all of that jazz. And so here we are. We're doing what we can do in the space that we are doing it in. I love when you guys come and join me and spend some time with me at night. I'm a night owl, guys. All right. So I'm trying to get my thing right, but it's not thinging and it's rigged. I always tell you guys I have like hair clips and bags and magic, but we're up. Okay, so we're gonna be moving because we're not at the desk. I could probably go to a desk, but let's see. Laura Lofton. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes. So the message for tonight is being patriotic about your boundaries. Being patriotic about your boundaries. The song that I'm working with and that I channeled was Toby Keith, and I think it's called Brought to You Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. But if you guys were alive for 9/11, if anybody was here during that time, we all remember what an incredible sucker punch 9/11 was. What a crazy moment in our history that was to have that event happen. And we were all going about our days. I will never forget, personally, I was in a criminal justice class because at the time I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Can y'all imagine me as a lawyer trying to be telling everybody, like, I can feel your pain? That's not a good lawyer. I would not have made a good lawyer, but I thought I was going to be a lawyer. We planned God laughs, but I was in a criminal justice class, and my professor, who was just a pretty docile, Caucasian guy, hadn't thought too much about him. Hi, who am I speaking with? Secret Love? Hello. Oh my gosh. Hi. Kate. Moi. Hello. Oh my gosh. Who are all these people? This is amazing. Like, where'd you guys all come from? This is so fantastic. I'm trying to get all the names. Did I just see that? Hold on one second, guys. Oh my gosh. You know what I'm going to need is... I'm freaking out. Brazil's here. Uh, New subscriber. Hi, new subscriber. Thank you. Even if the penalty jackpot, try almost frozen Oscar. Reads. What did you miss? I'm trying to figure out what I missed. I'm trying to figure out where all these people came from because these do not look like people on my thing. I also realize right now, because there's so many trolls that just popped in, this has never happened to me before. Where did 53 people come from? Is this real life? I'm really like in the matrix, okay, right now? Guys, I don't know what's happening. Are just people up at night? Oh my gosh. Laura, I need a moderator, Miss Laura. It's totally trolls. What in the Diddy? What in the Diddy? What? Miss Laura, I need a moderator. I need a moderator. I've never had trolls before. I have been. Girl, I wish I had Ozempic. Whoever just shouted me out for Ozempic, I wish I had delicious Ozempic. Yes. Okay, so hi Felicia. There's somebody I actually recognize. Oh my gosh, it's so full of trolls tonight. This is be careful what you ask for, guys. Right? We wanted more eyes on the channel. Here they are for my A1 day ones. I, wow, wow. That question. Who just asked me this question? Pink or black? This is really happening. This is happening on Barack Obama's internet, on Beyonce's internet. Miss Laura. All right, I'm gonna get into the message. No, I can't even say your name. How can I shout you out? I guess that was a shout out. Can I restart? If I restart, what's gonna happen, Miss Laura? Do you think that the trolls will? I wonder. Do you think they'll disappear? Wow, this is hilarious. Okay, so for the people that are gonna watch this back, that actually belong on this channel, that know what this channel is about, and not any of the trolls, for whoever was offering me Ozempic, thank you. You could send it right over. Appreciate you. You are never gonna hurt my feelings with the fat joke. Y'all, have y'all lived in life? That's right. All right, so here's the deal, guys. This is what we're going to deal with. What I'm going to tell you is this. When, I know, we're here for life, baby. This is awesome. Careful what you ask for. This was hilarious. Okay, so what I was talking about was, I'm going to have to, am I going to restart, Miss Laura? Is this trash? Is this whole live Basura? Oh my gosh. I know you don't know how to moderate, Miss Laura. I'm totally kidding. I've heard people say that in lives. I don't know how to moderate. I have no expectations of you. Please don't be stressed out, Miss Laura. You're just a calm anchor here in a sea of shenanigans. What is going on? No one knows what's going on tonight. Um, Skinny or black or light skin or fat. Oh my gosh, I just channeled a little biggie for you for people that are asking. Wow. This is amazing. All right. Well, the internet is interneting tonight. This is a challenge. It's like, a teacher challenge, okay? I'm going to try to stay focused. This is what I get for going live, right? But that's okay. We will not be chased away from our destiny. Thank you for whoever's saying I'm looking slay. Thank you for the people sending Ozempic my way. Thank you for the people that think I need plastic surgery and more makeup. Thank you for the people that said put on more, less is more, enough is enough. It's okay. This video is videoing. It is. I wish Ozempic was free. Are you going to pay for my Ozempic? Maybe today I'm just going to go out here and just talk shit. Because, this is amazing. Excellent. I love it. Someone thinks they're Donald Trump. Someone just fired me. God hired me. Who's going to fire me? All right. So I'm going to try to go back and pretend that the trolls aren't here. I think what's going to happen is... I can't even. All right. So, guys, let me just take a sip of water. Let's see. Wow. Okay. All right. I think everybody's gone away. All right. So, what I'm going to tell you guys, I can't read anything else that's coming in. That must be a blessing from my angels. What I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight, we're going to just start. I might really start this over. So, I'm sitting in my class. That was a lot of energy. I was sitting in my class, and I was sitting in my class, and my professor, who was pretty nondescript for the most part, is watching. We're watching the thing happen. The first plane has hit, and then within a few moments later, I think it was within 19 minutes or less, the second plane hit, the tower. And guys, that's not what I'm spelling, but I'm trying to contemplate. This feels like such a good message. I might just record it as a pre record, but I feel like all of the trolls have disappeared. Okay, so the second plane hit the tower. The second plane hit the tower, and I can't tonight. Angels, I'm gonna ask you to help me focus. This is like some kind of like cosmic test right now. This is wild. The second plane hit the tower. When the second plane hit the tower, my professor literally had his hand in his beard and it was gnarled and his fingers are white and he said it's fucking bin Laden. And that's the first time that I'd ever heard the that's the first time I had ever heard the name bin Laden. It's not a name that was on my radar. My criminal justice professor was retired FBI or CIA, one of the two. But he was a retired guy, and you would not think anything about it. He had told us that, but until that moment when we're sitting in the classroom and the second plane is hit and the world is in chaos and no one knows what is going on at all, and he says the name bin Laden, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was just an awakening for me that there are things that are hidden that we don't know about, that the government really does hold secrets. It was this really, really big awakening for me about what life is and how much we don't know. And the thing that happened in the subsequent days after 9/11 is that we all began to rally. And when we were rallying, we were incredibly united, and it was an incredibly patriotic time. Everyone was helping everyone. We were also very grateful to be here because we watched this very traumatic thing happen. People literally jumping from this fiery building because they just didn't want to perish in that way. And it was this powerful thing. I'm not going to get into the conspiracies of it and the politics of it. I really wanted to focus on the fact that there was a moment that galvanized us as a country, especially as we're coming up to the 4th of July here shortly. There was a moment that galvanized us as a country, and it made us really evaluate what patriotism meant. The song that I was channeling before I got so distracted with the trolls and the offers for the free Ozempic, I was channeling Toby Keith, brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. And the refrain that was going through my head was, we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. Uncle Sam, something, something at the top of your list. And the Statue of Liberty started shaking its fist. And the Eagles, something, and whatever. And it's like, essentially, it's going to be hell when you hear Mother Liberty ringing that bell. And it's like, and it will feel like the whole wide world is raining down on you, brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. So I am listening to this song just in my head. It's not playing audibly, but I'm listening to this song, and I am like, okay, this is a message for the collective, not the trolls tonight. If you made it this far and you watch all the craziness and watch the replay that just happened, this is a message for the collective that's actually here. That's my real students, my real people that really tune in, students of life, not just my students, but students of metaphysics. The Empath, the message is, it's time to be patriotic about your boundaries. When we think of that patriotism that we were all just wrapped in, we literally were wrapping ourselves in the flag. When we were wrapped in when we were literally wrapping ourselves in the flag at that moment, the reason that was happening is because we needed to band together to feel safe. And for the empath, our boundaries are the things that make us feel the absolute safest. And we were unapologetically patriotic immediately following and subsequent to those terrible events that happened on 9/11 so many years ago. And what the angels were saying to me about this is that we don't need you to always have a cataclysmic event in order for you to have patriotism and or an incredible sense of pride or protective energy regarding yourselves. Yes, patriotism could be reserved for a country or for an ideal, but what about for our own boundaries? And what about for the way that we feel? How much do we want to protect that? Because there have been insurgents and there have been people that are waging jihad, which is a word for war. People that are warmongers, energetically speaking, narcissists, trolls. The chat is filled with them tonight. And so what I want you guys to understand is that if you are a real like person that's studying and not just a random troll that's bored on this evening, you have to understand that you are allowed and entitled to be that protective of yourself at all times. When I was really dissecting it, I was thinking about the flag and I was thinking about the colors and I was thinking about red for the root chakra and I was thinking about that space of peace that we have and always between the lines as well as when I'm saying between the lines, what I'm talking about is being able to read between the lines of what people are saying and what you are perceiving, because a lot of things that are happening regarding our communication and our intuition, empath, has so much to do with our perception, our reality, and our intuition. And that is often challenged in a conventional world because people do not feel the way that we feel, they don't emote the way that we emote, and they cannot relate to the way that we would have discernment about a thing. And so people will often want to infringe on your boundaries, they want to push past the line, and they want to challenge you in order to see how much are you going to protect yourself from me. And they may be waging jihad on you, they may be a warmonger, they may be the thing to fear, but what your angels are asking you to do is make sure that your boundaries are clear. The thing that keeps coming up in my head is, we'll put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. That boot in your ass is about being absolutely unapologetic about fighting for your space, fighting for your place, fighting for your boundaries, fighting to protect yourself. And even if it's not about it being an American way, it doesn't matter where you're from in the world. If you're an empath, you understand your boundaries. You've had a narcissist try you. You've had toxic or low vibrational people try to attempt to infringe. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker that wants to push past where you said that this is where I end and you begin, and it's not negotiable. Well, what happens is when you're in that state, you can sometimes get a little bit lackadaisical with taking those measures for self-protection, right? Just like after 9/11, let's say maybe a year after that happened, the level of patriotism had ebbed significantly. It was something that we could actually notice. There were articles and there were news reports that were done about the fact that we were far more, joined as one, as a collective, as a United States, literally, of America in that moment, to protect something, an ideal. What are we protecting when we're talking about our patriotism? Well, what are you protecting when you're talking about your boundaries? And sometimes things will pass, right? Maybe a moment passes, maybe the fight passes, maybe the person that was the insurgent that was waging jihad on you essentially is not as much of a threat in that moment, or so they would like you to think. And that's when they want you to lower your defenses. And when I'm channeling the eagle part of the song, that is for you to kind of like fly above that empath and discern for yourself and decide, is this person worthy of being allowed back in? Can they sidle back up to me again? Is it safe? Do I want to hold space for them? Do I feel absolutely indignant? You don't always have to be connected to the tragedy to understand that you have made actual progress in your growth and in your boundary setting. And so your angels are saying to you, be absolutely patriotic about your boundaries. Absolutely guard it and act as though no one can question you. Because if you say it's a no for you, then it's a no for you. If you say it's a yes for you, then it's a yes for you. And there is that fighting spirit that I think is missing from a lot of us because we were really conditioned into a lot of codependency and people pleasing. So we're not used to being absolutely balls to the wall, like absolutely not. You don't get to pass here. You don't get to do that. And I really believe that was the channel message that I was getting was be patriotic, be unapologetic, be as incensed, as concerned, as absolutely unwilling to waver in the face of someone pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing up to you if it makes you uncomfortable. So wave your flag, whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be red, white, or blue, but when I think of the blue specifically, it's about speaking your truth. Part of being patriotic about your boundaries is about being a clear communicator about what does and doesn't work for you. And so it's not always about what doesn't work for you. Sometimes being patriotic about your boundaries is about expressing what actually does work for you. Can you say yes? Where can you say yes? Where can you show up for people? Where can you, trying to see what's happening here. Where can you show up for people? How can you show up for people? And how can you show up for yourself? So I keep hearing brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. And so that white is about the space that you take for yourself. That's about your meditations. That is about getting clear in your head so that you understand exactly where people are not allowed to tread. There's something about you having your peaceful self-care empath that helps to shore up those boundaries as well. The more time you spend with yourself and the more comfortable you are spending time with yourself, the more you are able to actually understand where you end and someone else begins. And if you've been steeped in codependency and unhealthy relationships where people are often lobbing at you a lot of their emotions and projecting onto you a lot of their feelings, you will have to really become patriotic about your boundaries and about your space because people will love to play in your face. And also take up your amazing grace. I'm channeling a song and it's Afro beats. Your amazing grace. Y'all know I can't sing, but it's not the traditional Christian song Amazing Grace. It's really empowering actually. But the thing about it is you have this grace and people, that's why people want to get access to you. That's why they want to be closer to you. That's why they want to be proximal. Your crown, your energy, your aura is perceived, it is felt. And that's why you have to be so protective of that because you are your first line of defense. You know, one of the things that I really love that we actually now say is that there's no one coming to save you. A lot of us grew up with all of the fairy tales, right? All the Cinderella and all of the princess kind of energy and vibe. And the thing to note about that tribe is there is a thing called the Cinderella complex. There's a book written and it's fantastic. And the Cinderella complex really denotes the energy of thinking that someone is coming to save you. The idea that we have been indoctrinated since children, specifically women, to believe that there is a Prince Charming or a Princess Charming that's coming to save you. And whilst the idea of the fairy tale serves its purpose, and there can certainly be things that we can pull from it that can be advantageous for our health, our growth, or just for imagination's sake, the idea that there is some prince or king coming our way to save us is insane. We are our first line of defense, and no one is going to do anything for you. And if this is brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue, then it means that you have to be patriotic about the boundaries that protect and serve you. You don't have to be in the military. You don't have to have that experience. You don't even have to have been alive when 9/11 happened. But you know the vibe of patriotism. And I want you to feel that proud of who you are. Well, the reason we were patriotic is because we were proud. We were proud of our country. We were proud of our boundaries. We were proud of our borders. And I feel like what they're trying to get me to transpose over here to you is to be proud of your boundaries, your borders too. If you escape narcissistic abuse, if you escape trolls, if you escape low vibrational people, if you escape toxic family members that never wanted to see you ascend past them, if you escape hater ass friends, if you escape hater ass cousins, hater ass employees, if you escape mean girls, you name it, if you escaped energies of people that were really trying to break you down, It means that to a certain degree, you had to be patriotic about your boundaries, and probably when no one was around. That's the thing. That patriotism, it reminds me of what they say about integrity. It's a thing you do when no one's looking. Are you praying for yourself, loving yourself, and actually showing up for yourself when no one's looking? If you don't have someone to show up for you and to say, we're not going to allow you to be bullied. Have you ever had that happen where maybe something was happening and someone stuck up for you at some point in your life? Well, when that happens, it feels great, right? But what your angels are really working on you in this season, for the empaths that are still watching, it's sticking up for yourself. You're supposed to be sticking up for yourself. And yes, that may have been modeled for you, or maybe it wasn't, because we often create from contrast as well. So if you did not have that thing where someone was patriotically protective of you, then that is something that you will be challenged to do. And the way that we get challenged to do that is by actually having people try us and overstep our boundaries, because there is no faster teacher than experience. Okay. And so your angel said a lot of you guys have already had that experience. So there is no reason to have to recollect what it feels like to instinctively protect yourself and to pull in. You're allowed to pull in. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to not go. You're allowed to not want to go. You're allowed to not show up. You're allowed to fill your own cup. You're allowed to tell people to step back. You're allowed to step up. But you have to be so prideful in a way and so proud of yourself that you're feeling like, I am worthy of being this protected. You don't have to have, again, they want us to veer away from it being something that's cataclysmic, that triggers that level of internal patriotism for our own boundaries. They said, remember what you've already been through. Let those past lessons be the precursors and teachers for you as you move forward into a new place in your life. Because again, there is no one coming to save you. We are our first line of defense. We save us. But they said, if you are flying your flag of it's just me over here and no one better get near, and I am so proud of me. I am so proud of the work I've done. I'm so proud of the boundaries that I've set up for myself. What you are going to do in that case is make it so much easier for yourself later, your future self, and maybe for people around you that you're teaching to. That's the thing that I want you guys to understand. People are learning from you. They are observing you and they are learning how you handle things. Towards the beginning of the year, I had a situation where I had to be patriotic about my boundaries. Someone was overstepping my boundaries. Someone was taking me for granted. Someone was just downright playing in my face. And it got very 9/11 to me in a way. And I decided to protect myself. But one of the things that was said to me after I was incredibly patriotic and put a boot in the person's ass energetically and decided to cut ties and salt the energy and really remove that person away from me, is I had someone come to me and they said, I was watching, and I didn't even realize they were watching. They said, I was watching your emotional response, and I thought, because I know how much you invested into this person in this situation, that it was going to take you out, that you're going to have a whole emotional reaction, that it might, you might be depressed, you might be sad. And she was like, I kept watching and I kept watching and I kept watching, and you weren't having that reaction. And that's because, guys, I was preemptively protecting myself and taking in stride whatever I was getting dished out from that person. But I understood that this wasn't something to be sentimental about. What people are hoping for when they breach your boundaries is that you will slip back into the place where you remember them and you are nostalgic about whatever the connection was in whatever capacity, whether it was to be work, love, or friendship. So it doesn't matter which area you're actually dealing with, people will really want you to allow them back in off of nostalgia, and maybe we could try again and maybe we could do this again. And I got absolutely resolute and patriotic about my boundaries, and I was like, oh, no. And it was interesting because the person that communicated with me was saying, I did not think you had it in you. I've seen you after having your feelings hurt or being disappointed or let down or whatever. And I said, the reason that I was not a puddle on the ground, or the reason it didn't affect me the way you've seen other things affect me, is because I was protecting me. Even though my heart was invested, I decided I deserved to be protected. I decided it didn't have to be completely cataclysmic for me to protect myself. It didn't have to be the towers falling. I didn't have to be staring into the pool of the Freedom Towers at Honor, where those two towers stood today in New York. I didn't have to get to the worst case scenario. I didn't have to say, let's roll, as I bum rushed the hijackers in my life. I assessed that they were hijackers, and I decided to eject myself out of the flight. Be so patriotic about your boundaries and realize that you are the captain of your life. It doesn't matter who boards your ship. I'm channeling the Alabama Marist, that movie with Tom Hanks, where the pirates, the Somali pirates, board the ship and they say, "I'm the captain now." A lot of people will want to board your vessel energetically, and they will want to they will want to completely control and rule and manipulate and infringe, and you get to decide how you want to protect your destiny. You get to decide how much you want to be distracted. You guys just watched me go through a whole test tonight, and I had to decide to be patriotic. And after I played, and after I realized the trolls were going to troll, I realized, do I want to play or do I want to fight? And you will have to decide how you protect your life, but you have to be so incredibly powerfully patriotic about protecting your life, because you're the only one who's going to do it. Brought to you courtesy of the and you, of your higher self, of your heart chakra, of your root chakra. Those places keep us grounded to what feels right for us. And it helps and gives an indicator as to who you may not trust. One of the things that comes up when we're talking about being patriotic about our boundaries is people that will want to push up against it to make sure and see what was happening in that. Again, no matter what your conspiracy theories about 9/11 are, was there was a breach of boundaries. Was it from our government? Was it from afar? That's for you to decide. But either way, there were boundaries that were being breached. And it caused us to rally. What I want you to do and what your angels are really asking you to do is to rally for you. Let it not be because someone's trying you always. Rally for you before it gets to that place. That's the thing that they're saying. B, flying your flag and let it be known that these are your boundaries and these are the spaces you need in between, and things are this clear, and that's your aggregate. Think of the stars over there. That's your group, that's your tribe, that's your vibe. Be patriotic about how you decide to survive. And I'm channeling the song. I was so inspired by one of the trolls. But in any case, I want you to know that that's something that you have to do. And when you are doing it, it will become easier and easier to manage that and to stay vigilant about your boundaries. None of us like being played. None of us like being taken advantage of. None of us like being lied to or gaslit. And when that happens to you on multiple occasions, you will absolutely find a way to stop it. You'll find a way to stop the bleed, to cauterize it, to burn it off, to stop it so that it's not an open and gaping wound. Um, and you will find exactly your lane and exactly what it is that you were supposed to do. But that doesn't mean that someone will never try you again. The reason that we have our military industrial complex and the rest of it, again, up for much debate, is but it's about protection. And so again, if you're your first line of defense and protection, empath, that's not something that ever gets eroded from you. Just because, let's say you've gone 6 months and no one's tried you, I still want you to be thinking, brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. I still want you to be that vigilant about how you allow people close to you, or how you allow people to be near you, or to have access to you, or to approach you. And so I really feel like if you are thinking about that, and if you are like present and cognizant and really remembering that at every turn of your life, you get to decide who gets to be by your side, who gets to approach you, who gets to treat you wrong or right. If you are that vigilant with your boundaries, then what happens is people, the word spreads, is what I just heard. The word spreads. So people, your reputation will precede you. It will be known that you're not someone to mess with, or they can't get over you, or they can't do that, or you're not going to play those games. And when you get into that frame of mind, what you're able to do is is really have this force field around you where you're protected, and it is you showing up for you unapologetically, patriotically, in whatever way that is for you, in a way that everyone can see, even if they are not spiritual like you, even if they don't believe like you, even if they are not part of the same, metaphysical energy that you belong to, even if they're not part of your tribe or your vibe. Boundaries radiate, and people pay attention to that. There is a vibe, a literal vibration that is perceived when you are unapologetically patriotic about where you get to be in this universe and how you show up, and excuse me, how other people are not allowed to be that close, or that they must have some level of protocol, respect, in order to even approach. So that's the message that I have for you tonight. I feel like that is more than enough. This was an interesting ride. Let's see if I have any real people in here, or if it's just all trolls. I do not want to ignore my real folks. Let's see here. Oh my god. This is wild. Oh my god. Sacred love, you're welcome. One non troll and that whole list, you're welcome. Okay, guys, that was crazy. I am going to end this. This was a hot mess. I guess I'm going to have to invest in moderators. So I'm going to be doing my research and my due diligence, because shenanigans. Absolute dumpster fire. Anyway, I'm going to probably do a pre record as well of that message, because I don't even know if I'm going to keep this up. Just dumpster fire. Especially because YouTube clips parts of your live just for you and will like put it out to the airways. God knows what level of Dante's Inferno and the seventh hell that will be clipped if we do this. So, all right. Thank you guys for joining me. For those of you that are still here, this was a first in all the years I've been on YouTube. I have never had such amazing trolls. Oh, God. Good times. Come back and join me next time, guys, and we will continue to evolve together. I can't believe that the biggest troll just said they subscribed. Is this the biggest troll? Let me see if it's the same person that was saying all that craziness. Of course they subscribed. Of course you did. Of course you did. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it was someone else. Wow. All right. Guys, that's it. Come back and join me next time. And more shenanigans. I'm going to come back and do another live. Good night, Sacred Love. I am so grateful. Yes, I absolutely believe in God. Are you real or are you a troll, Robert? I have no idea. Sacred Love, if you are new to the channel, you seem like a real person. Thank you for joining my channel and come back. There are other things on here. It's not always a dumpster fire, but sometimes dumpster fires are fun. All right, guys, come back and join me next time. We'll continue to evolve together. They just asked me, "Are you sure you want to stop streaming?" Absolutely, I do. I'm glad you're real, Robert. You were talking cash shit, so I hope I hope